Billionaire Mark Cuban deletes all of his pro-Kamala posts after she loses in epic fashion. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about billionaire Dallas Mavericks NBA basketball team owner Mark Cuban deleting all of his recent pro-Kamala posts ever since she has lost the election in epic fashion. Now, this is very interesting because Mark Cuban was one of her biggest supporters. I mean, this guy, I don't know if he was being paid by the campaign. I don't know what's going on, but this guy was everywhere on The View, MS13 DNC, CNN, CNBC, on his own page, everywhere and anywhere you saw this guy. He was talking about how much he loves Kamala and how bad the orange man is. But after she loses, all of a sudden, all those pro-Kamala posts go away. What's really going on with that? Why did he do that? Now, let's go right here. Libs of TikTok first called it out. And you see the post. Mark Cuban is apparently deleting a bunch of his pro-Kamala posts. What's going on at M. Cuban? And he responds. Let's look right here. He says, I've always gone back and deleted tweets for years. Same with 2020 election, 2016 election, same with other stuff. You can use the Wayback Machine if you really want to see them. And then Lives a TikTok responding and says, okay, well, is this one of them? Why would you delete it? And then somebody says, I believe Mark Cuban was paid a significant amount by the DNC and Kamala's campaign to be a billionaire influencer and counterbalance Elon Musk, which is a really good thought process to have. That makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying that did happen, but it sounds right. And then the tweet he responded says, you are wrong. Didn't get a nickel. Not reimbursed for anything. They did buy me lunch twice. So you got lunch, but you didn't get anything. You didn't. So was there no travel paid? Was there no expenses paid? Did your company get paid any money? Like how Oprah said, well, I never got any money. But Harpro Productions got $1 million, but I didn't get money. So, Mark, what's really going on? What's up with y'all celebrities? You know what I think? I think all these celebrities got paid a handsome sum of money to go out there and stump for Kamala. But since the campaign is over, so is the endorsement, so is the stumping. Now, Mark, we're not going to let you forget what you were doing during the campaign. We are not going to let you forget at all. We have some clips to get through. Oh, yes, we do. Now, this is pretty early. This is back in 2015. He's talking to Patrick Bet-David, okay, back in 2015. And you're going to see just how different he was not even the full 10 years ago as compared to now. Then we're going to get into what he's saying recently, and it's crazy. Check it out.
So one would call you a Democrat.
No, hell no. Look, there's different things for different reasons, right?
Would you be comfortable with a capitalist like Donald Trump being our president?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I like Donald and he's smart. You know, like
I like Donald. He's smart. I'm not a Democrat. Mark, what changed between then and now? Let's continue.
A lot of candidates and politicians, you vote for not what they say, but knowing that 99% of they say won't come true, what they'll do once they get it.
See who's going to follow through.
And do I think he's smart enough to figure that out and then just do the right thing after he's elected? Yes. And then Hillary and Bernie say, okay, tax the 1% and that'll pay for everything. Doesn't work, right?
So what? I mean, I don't get it. Right here, you sound like you sound like you make sense. Okay, taxing the rich, the Bernie, the Pocahontas. That's not really going to work, right? What Trump is talking about makes more sense. So I don't understand. Again, this is back in 2015, as you can see right there. That's Mark Cuban and Patrick Bet-David. Shout out Patrick Bet-David. You got a great show, sir. Let's keep on moving here. This is him. This is him just recently. And I think this comment right here, you know what? You know what could have happened? He could have made this comment and there could have been a request from the campaign to step away. Let's watch this.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple.
So he hates women. They're not strong and intelligent. So basically, this is Hillary Clinton. Same basket of deplorables. That's what you did. You just insulted a bunch of women, female Trump supporters. You said women around him are basically weak and dumb. That's what you said. But that can also be interpreted as Trump supporters are stupid, weak, and dumb. women specifically. So what's going on here? Let's continue. Now, this is on CNBC. This was a pretty good segment.
On this unrealized tax issue, gain issue, and where we've talked about, those who are taking loans against their unrealized stock, et cetera, and then they say, well, if you start to tax that, we won't be able to make investments in startups. We won't be able to give money over to venture capitalists.
Now, remember, part of the plan that Kamala was floating was taxing unrealized capital gains, which means you have something that's worth something and it increases in value. They wanted to make you pay taxes on the increased value without realizing it, meaning without selling. Normally, talking about a capital gains tax, that's if you sell something, you're taxed on the money that you made from the sale. Unrealized, you didn't even sell it, but you still got to pay taxes on it.
Private equity folks and other things like that. What's your feedback to that distinction? Because I wonder, once there's a critique of one, then of one policy, and you get rid of that policy, then of course it moves to the critique of the next version of it.
Well, of course, but okay. So what I told him was, if you tax unrealized gains, you're going to kill the stock market, right? And it's going to be the ultimate employment plan for private equity, because companies are not going to go public because you can get whipsawed, right? I mean, my own personal experience back from the internet days, right? All of a sudden, I was cash poor, but equity rich, right? My net worth was enormous, but the number of dollars in the bank wasn't enormous, and so I'd have, based off of the unrealized gains, I would have had to borrow money, and I effectively would have been in hock just to pay my tax bill.
You'd have been in debt over that, just to pay taxes. You would have been in debt to pay taxes
instead of trying to run my company, and 1,000 other reasons, right? So they realize that's the issue. I can't repeat it enough. Even though she's not directly conflicting the Biden tax plan, to her value proposition is we need to tax everybody fairly. I'm starting from the Biden plan as a starting point, but that's not necessarily her ending
Mark,
point.
let me just say, I appreciate you calling in, telling us what you're hearing on these fronts. That's great. But as you've said yourself, you can't speak for the vice president. These are things they're telling you. Who knows what they're telling other people? My guess is they're telling anybody who's donating to them exactly what they want to hear at this point. What matters is what they say publicly and what they will stick to.
No, absolutely, positively not. Right. Let me just be very
I don't know. Like, why do you think that they're telling you the truth?
What was all that about? No. What was, Mark? What has happened to you? The clip we played earlier from 2015 with Patrick Bet-David sounds much different than what we're hearing right now. And it's weird because you realize the whole capital gains, the unrealized capital gains tax thing doesn't make any sense. That was floated out by our campaign. You realize that, but you're still not able to see the complete fault in a Kamala Harris.
Truth and not telling other people other things.
Well,
if they won't say it publicly, say it publicly. Tell all of us so that we can hold you to it.
I get it, but you got to get the details right. You can't just.
Yeah, but we have 60 days till an election. Like, you're asking people to take a flyer.
Even if it's the day before the election, right? Even if it's the day before. Look, the next question is, the second thing I was going to mention it earlier.
I just don't want everybody to trade on what we think and what we feel and what we think may happen.
Exactly.
Just tell us.
And you know what? That's crazy. You got a woman telling Mark, "Hey man, you got to get out of your feelings. Get out of your feelings, Mark." That's hilarious. That is funny. Now, this is him on CNN, live and in person. Okay, rocking the Rachel Maddow look. Back before 2015, he had kind of the dude bro, frat bro vibe. Now we're looking like Rachel Maddow. I don't know what happened to you, Mark.
It works, and honestly, he's more popular now than he's ever been. His administration is more popular than it's ever been. And look where he came from when he left office to right now. There's one reason why he's more popular today than he's eever been, because people are comparing it to what they've got now, and they're saying, I want to go back.
And yet it's a dead heat against somebody who's only been in the race 13 weeks.
Well,
it was a dead heat, huh? Remember, these are videos before the election. A dead heat. Man, look at the score. We're up a whole bunch of electoral votes. What did Trump finish with? 312 electoral votes and 5 million more popular votes. A dead heat. Talking about a curb stomping.
You act as though she just landed here on a spacecraft 13 weeks ago. She's been the vice president for an entire term.
But there's a
she was in the United States Senate. She did not show up here 13 weeks ago. She has a record as vice president, and I think what's hurting your campaign is that she also has a record when she ran for president, and she said a lot of things that have come back to haunt her.
But that's a different world. I mean, I can go back 10 years when Donald Trump said he wanted to tax oil companies out of existence. You can talk about Section 230. You can talk about Bitcoin. You can talk about abortion. There's a long list of things that Donald Trump has flip-flopped on.
But he was the president, and he has a record, and she was the vice president, and she has a record.
Yeah, but what kind of record? But you know that whole comparison isn't legit because the vice president doesn't do anything. What did Mike Pence?
They don't do anything. Now, who was a tie-breaking vote for who was a tie-breaking vote for the Inflation Reduction Act? Because remember, as a vice president, you are also the president of the Senate. Senate has 100 members. If they tie 50-50, who comes in to break the tie? And your tie-breaking vote can make a bill become law when it otherwise wouldn't have. So let's not act like this is an inconsequential person. And let's not act like there's no prior record as an attorney general and a senator. Let's not act like that.
Well, I disagree. I actually think she has been the most consequential vice president when you consider the responsibilities that she was given, when you consider that Joe Biden has said she was there every step of the way. And finally,
you know it.
She cast more tie-breaking votes than any other vice president. She cast
Well, that's because
the votes.
the Senate, because of the nature of the Senate, had nothing to do with her being special. You know, that's just the
Okay, so she's not special. The women are dumb that support President Trump. You got a misogyny problem, don't you, Mark Cuban? I know there was a whole Me Too allegation back in 2018. Did they get resolved? Did you settle some money? I don't know what happened. But as I close, I want to say this. It's pretty interesting how Mark Cuban went from one of Kamala's biggest supporters, going on every show that would have him, doing everything. He did a show with Kamala. You doing all that stuff only for right after the election. Right as the election ends, you delete your pro-Kamala tweets. So were you being paid to do this? What was the thing? And if you were getting paid, how much money was it? Is there political interest in it for you? Obviously, there was some kind of ulterior motive here. And when that whole thing didn't come to fruition, when he didn't get what he thought he was going to get, all right, let's just go ahead and delete all this stuff and get back to normal. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Why do you think Mark Cuban deleted all of his pro-Kamala tweets? Is just because he deletes everything and it's normal and he always does it? Or is it because they lost and he may not be able to get whatever he thought he was going to get? So why keep up the facade? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I think what happened here is they lost. She got stomped completely into wine. And he's like, okay, it's over. So all these tweets, I don't need that anymore. I don't need to go on TV anymore. I don't got to pretend to be Rachel Maddow. I can just go back to doing whatever I do. Watching guys play basketball or something like this. That might be that might be his best interest as of right now. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that is all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.